Hello, ladies, and welcome to Wine, Women, and Wealth. We're going virtual tonight because the weather decided that we cannot go in person because it may not be safe for us to go in person. So we're going to meet on Zoom. So I'm very, very happy you ladies were able to join me. And because February is the month of love, I want to talk to you about the love for money. And let's talk about how you can love your money, maybe just a little bit more. And why I'm talking about this? Well, my name is Sorana, and I have been a representative with Five Rings Financial. I am a licensed life insurance agent, and also I'm an enrolled agent, which means I can do taxes and represent people in front of the IRS. And the reason I'm doing all of these things is because I had to learn how money works in the United States. And I also became passionate about sharing this information with a lot of people that said they never heard of it before. So I wanted to make sure that people understand all this about money. And I joined Five Rings because their mission is also to educate Americans about how money works. So our missions aligned, and it just sounded like a great opportunity to do some amazing work together. And Wine, Women, and Wealth is a signature event of Five Rings Financial, where women get together. We have some wine when we are in person. Now it's bring your own wine because you're in front of your computer. And we talk about money and make new friends during our networking segment at the end. So with that said, let's jump in and start talking about my favorite topic, which is money. And why Wine, Women, and Wealth? Why was this event created? What are we doing with it? Well, our vision at Five Rings Financial is to educate and encourage all women to become comfortable with the basic concepts of money and personal finances. Our mission is to guide women to financial success through education, support, and financial mentoring. And our values are gather, educate, network, mentor, and support. And let's dive deeper into the why. Why do women need to know all of this? Well, fortunately, or sometimes unfortunately, we live longer than men by an average of 7 years. And because of that, we need more money in retirement. And you may have heard this, the number one fear people have when it comes to their money is that their money is going to end before their life, that they're going to run out of money before they run out of life. Well, that's even more critical when it comes to women because 75% of us are eventually widowed, even in the best of marriages. And of course, you know this scary stat, over 50% of marriages end in divorce. The bad news about that is the fact that a woman's standard of living drops by 73% in the first year after the divorce. And so we live more, but we end up with less money because we are away from the workforce on average 14.7 years, while men only about 1.6. And of course, that happens mainly because of raising families, taking care of aging parents, all the reasons that are great. And of course, we're helping the family, but we're not helping ourselves when it comes to our finances by doing that. And what that leads to is an average of 87% of the poverty-stricken elderly are women because of all of these factors that play into it. So we need to learn about money because, first of all, money impacts our life. Secondly, and not less important, money impacts all of our relationships. Have you ever thought that in a marriage, there are three people? You, your spouse, and your money? And I know that may sound funny, but think about it. The number one reason for divorce is money, right? So when you have a relationship with yourself that is great and where you love yourself and you do all the right things, you also build a relationship with your finances along the way. And the more love you show to yourself and the more love you show to your money, the better your relationship is with the both of you, with yourself and your money. When it comes to your spouse, your kids, your parents, even your siblings, money plays a very important role in those relationships, right? Most arguments happen because of money in a marriage. You know, the relationship with kids a lot of times is impacted by money. When parents tell kids, we can't afford this, no, I'm not buying this, or when parents feel guilty about something like working too much, and then they buy everything for the kids, then money impacts the way that child is raised, the way that child will see themselves as they age. Our relationship with the parents is also impacted by money. We have all sorts of ideas that we inherit from our parents and that we develop through our through the way that we were raised. And when it comes to siblings, I don't think I have to go into details, but just say that when somebody dies, like a parent, that's when a lot of the biggest fights happen between siblings because I want this, mom promised me that, dad said I can have this, and all of that is financial, right? It may not be exactly money, it may be items, but it's still about money. It's still about getting something, especially getting something that you didn't have to pay for, that you didn't have to do anything for because you're inheriting it, right? So a good idea about learning how to deal with money and learning how to deal with all of these relationships that are impacted by money is what a novel concept. Hire a professional, right? Professionals know more about money and they can also help improve the relationship when they teach you more about money. Now, when I say hire a professional, doesn't mean go and get the first person that you meet and, okay, this person has the right license, I'm going to talk to them. Talk to a few people and see which ones have the same values as you, which ones can align what they do with what you want to achieve, and then that can be the right professional for you. So just be very mindful that money does impact all of your relationships, right? Any questions or any ideas about this or any feelings that you guys might want to share?
It makes sense to me. Kind of really, not letting it kind of dictate your relationships, but to actually have a healthier relationship with it.
Yeah, a lot of times, you're right, dictate the relationship, you're right. A lot of times money will tell you what you can or cannot have, right? And that's your personal relationship with it, right? You may want a certain dress, let's say, and like, oh no, this is a high price for it, so no, I don't want to pay. Or maybe you want to go eat out, and instead of eating something you really like, you get something else because it costs less, right? So money impacts how you take care of yourself as well. And how many people don't go to the doctor or don't take the right medicine or don't do something that would help their health, like let's say having a massage or having a maybe even a mental health support system because that's not covered by insurance. They have to pay. So money dictates if they can or cannot have that particular type of service. So it's very important to respect money, build a better relationship with it, but be very much aware that you cannot let it control your life. You cannot let it dictate everything. And as you work to improve your relationship, then money will in return do better for you, will in return take better care of you. Now, here are some beliefs. I like to call it a money mindset minefield because right in between our ears, we think all of these thoughts, all of these money beliefs that actually hold us back. So when we're talking about improving our belief, we need to first figure out what in the world do we believe when it comes to money that is holding us back. How can we have a better relationship if we don't know what our current relationship is, right? So what is one money belief that you guys have that maybe a thing that you heard growing up, maybe something your parents told you, maybe something that your friends heard from their families and shared with you as you were growing up, and maybe you're still believing that, or maybe you realize it's not a good belief to have, but you are very much aware that you had that belief for a while.
Oh, I think my mom's favorite term was money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, I heard that a lot growing up too. Even in a different country, we still said that. And a lot of people are being held back by the fact that they believe that it takes money to make money, right? And one of my pet peeves is when people say that money is evil. And then other people want to show that they know more about the Bible. And they say, no, the Bible doesn't say money is evil. The Bible says the love of money is evil. Well, neither one of those things are right. Because if you don't love money, why would money love you back? If you show a friend that you don't care and you treat them badly and you slam the door in their face when they come to visit, why would they want to be your friend? If you treat money like it's not good enough for you, like it doesn't mean anything to you, if you throw it all over the place, put it at the bottom of your pocketbook, all crumpled up and maybe sticky with God knows whatever else in your purse, why would money want to come hang out in that environment? I mean, if a friend treated you bad, would you want to go hang out with that friend? Right? So that's why we need to have respect for money. We need to treat money right. And loving money is not a bad thing. Now, getting obsessed about it and loving it to the exclusion of everything else and just not giving anybody a penny and hoarding it, that's different. That's not love. That becomes obsession. That's something that's extreme. That is not the good kind of love where you show that you care, right? If you're loving a friend so much that you smother them, that friend still doesn't want to hang out with you, right? Slamming the door in their face is not a good idea, but smothering them is not either. So you have to find the happy medium. You have to treat money right, but you still have to show some love. A lot of us have this scarcity mentality. And I've been talking to a lot of women that feel like this. I don't know if it's a woman thing, but it seems to me that women feel this more than men, that we start feeling guilty when we feel like we're getting too much of something, whether that's money or things or in business clients. We start feeling like, well, if I get all of this, then the next person's not going to have it, or oh my God, it's going to be less left for everybody else. Well, money is like air. Money is infinite. It's energy. It's all over the place. So if we think, well, I can't have more money because then my neighbor down the street won't have any, or my best friend is not going to get enough. Well, think about it like this. Would you walk down the street and say, well, I'm not going to breathe today. I'm just going to kind of breathe half a day because I want to make sure everybody else gets some air, right? That sounds ridiculous because we know we can breathe as much as we need and everybody else can do the same. But yet, when it comes to money, we feel that there's a finite amount of it and we cannot get more because then the next person's not going to get enough. And yet, we don't find that ridiculous. It's kind of weird how that works. Now, the way that this has been explained over the years, and what I don't like about that explanation, is that people would talk about, especially in business when it comes to sales, about getting a bigger piece of a pie. Well, when you think of a pie, whether you think it's this big or this big or this big, you still think it's a finite thing, right? Because regardless of the size of the pie, it will end. So when you're talking about getting a bigger piece of the pie, it automatically implies that somebody else is going to get less, or the rest of the people sharing in that pie are not going to get maybe enough. So let's not talk about money as pie, because money is not pie. Money is like air. Okay, it doesn't end. There's always more. And another big mine that people have in their minefield in their head is that they think that somebody's going to take care of them. The older generations had this idea that the employer or the government is going to take care of them because they knew that they'll have a pension, which now we know we don't. Those are very scarce. But also, a lot of the women feel like the husband is going to provide. The husband will take care of whatever they need. And not to put men down, nothing wrong with them taking care of it, but relying on them and not knowing what's going on with our finances makes us very vulnerable. If something happens and we end up on that side of the 50% that divorce, chances are we're not going to be in a good position because we don't know what we should be getting. If we are on this side of the 50% and we don't divorce, statistically, we will outlive our husbands. So there will come a time when we have to provide for ourselves. And if the husband did a good job about making sure they have life insurance in place, making sure they made good investments and all that, that's great. But what if they didn't? Would you rather find out later that, oops, he didn't really know what he was doing? Or would you rather find out now so that way you have years and years where you both can work on that and make sure that everything is taken care of for later down the road? Right? I cannot even tell you how many families I've met throughout my years in the industry where one of them knew what was going on with their money and one of them didn't really know, had no idea where all the important papers were in the house. So it's very, very important to make sure that both of you know where everything is, what's happening with it, how you can get it, or who do you need to call when something happens. All right, we're going to talk about 3 key money problems now. So when it comes to money, people are afraid of 3 things, generally speaking. One is that they're going to die too soon. So if I die too soon, oh my God, what's going to happen with my family? What will happen with my kids? Right? Especially us as women, we worry about everybody that will be left behind. The second problem that people are concerned with is that they may live too long. As I said, one of the biggest fears is that they're going to run out of money before they run out of life. So what happens if you live too long and you don't have enough money? What happens if you get ill at some point and then you need more money because now you have to take care of that in addition to your regular monthly bills, right? So all of these problems, of course, contribute to our daily stress and make us worry about what will be down the road. So there's a solution to all that, and that is life insurance. And I know it can sound a little bit off-putting for some people because they think like, oh, wow, now we're going to talk about that. But the good news is it's not just life insurance. It's the new kind of life insurance that comes with living benefits. And I want to share a video here, and this is one of my favorite videos. So let's make sure it shares. To see what living benefits mean and how do you even use those. And one moment. Let me see, I think it's sharing in the back. So give me 1 second. Let me share the video. My name is Elizabeth Martinez. My name is Elizabeth. All right. So here is the video.
My name is Elizabeth Martinez Genova, and this is my living benefit story. I was born in Miami, Florida, born and raised. I've lived there my entire life. I travel for pleasure. That's my big thing. I've had many careers in my lifetime. I was in the military. I went to law school, but I love traveling.
My name's Alberto Caballera. I've been an insurance agent since 2010. I specialize in life insurance with living benefits that you don't have to die to use.
When Albert first spoke to me about the living benefits, I didn't know that there was such a thing, that existed. And that really was what sold me.
Well, I started explaining to her about the policy. Told her, listen, what's going to happen if you get sick? What are you going to do if you're chronic, if you're critical, if you're terminal? This policy allows you to accelerate a huge sum of money from your policy, anywhere from 90 to 100% when you really need the money.
And he convinced me that it made sense because life is very unpredictable, as I recently found out. I got the policy, and that was just before my trip to Turkey. And then in January, my doctor, I had run some tests, and my doctor had told me to go into the hospital to the ER because of pancreatitis, which can be potentially fatal. They had seen like what they thought was a shadow, but they thought it could have been a clot. They didn't think it was anything. But they decided that they would do an endoscopy. And when they did the endoscopy is how they discovered the cancer. I was hopeful that it would be that we caught it early, because I didn't come in for this, but it was first a slap in the face to find out that you have cancer, and then it was a kick to the gut to find out that you're stage 4.
Then we found out that it was terminal cancer.
Obviously, when you get hit with a diagnosis like that, and then they tell you have 3 to 6 months, it's really debilitating. And it was really very shocking for my siblings and my family to hear the news. But the next worry that you have is, how am I going to pay my bills? You know, how am I going to take care of just surviving even in this short time?
That's when we put in the claim into the insurance company, and before we knew it, we had a check on our hands for $239,000 in change for her, which made all the difference in the world when I gave her that check.
When I realized that I could make a claim on my living benefits and that I could receive this money, it lifted a burden. Because not only was that sufficient money to pay my mortgage and pay my debt and pay a lot of the things that I had to take care of, it also left me a little bit of money to be able to spend it with my family and to be able to do the things that I'm interested in. I've traveled to a lot of places. Some of my favorites are Thailand, of course, Jerusalem, to see history and stories of the Bible unfold before you. I love the tulips in Holland, in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. There's a lot of places I've been, but there's still a long list of places I've not gone to. And with the living benefits that I received, I plan to find those places, you know, with the time I have left.
So this is why I do what I do, because I feel that it's very important for people to first learn about this, and secondly, hopefully, take care of this for themselves and their family, just like I did. All right, and I want to share a little bit about Five Rings Financial, who they are as a company, and what attracted me to them. So the core values of Five Rings Financial are purpose, character, courage, energy, and love. Those resonate a lot with me, especially because I feel my purpose is to educate people about money, because I realize that a lot of people don't know these things, and I feel that it's normal to know them. But I do understand that a lot of people have not been exposed to this money journey that I've been on. And what is very, very interesting to me, and also what I really like about Five Rings, is the dedication to women in this industry. I was with a pretty big company prior to Five Rings where men were running the show. And it can be a good thing, but it can also be limiting when you're trying to grow with a company. Well, with Five Rings, 60% of our clients and our partners are women. And I will say on my personal team, my business partners are women, but I am always looking for smart men. I'm not leaving men out of it. It's just that this industry has been dominated by old white men for so long that it is refreshing to see women get a bigger share of this industry. And at Five Rings, our mission is to educate Middle America on how money really works. So we offer living benefits on all the policies as long as people can qualify medically. We also have guaranteed lifetime income that's available with certain products that we offer. And for those people that want to either have a new career or just have a new stream of income in their business, we offer a life-changing opportunity. And for those of you that want to learn more, there's an opportunity to have a one-on-one consultation. You can schedule a discovery call that we never charge for. So we can talk about what you need, what you have questions about, and see how I may be able to help. And we also have other events coming up. Our next in-person Wine, Women, and Wealth in the West End is going to be on March 5th. So this one, hopefully the weather's going to cooperate by March, and we will meet at Total Wine in person. And also we have another one earlier on February 18th in person at Gather in Midlothian. So if that's closer to you, let me know and I will share the link to register for that. And if you want to attend an event from the comfort of your home, maybe even have your spouse join you, we do have a Money 101 event online on February 24th at 7 p.m. And I will tell you that none of these events are designed with the intention to sell you anything. We don't put a sticky name tag on you. We don't ask you to sign on the dotted line. We just ask you to come, learn, bring a friend if you feel that somebody else can benefit from learning all of this information. And most importantly, do something to be better off with what you learn, right? Maya Angelou has a quote that is one of my favorite that says, you did the best with what you know, and then you know better, you do better, right? So we want to help you know better so you can do better for yourself and for your family. And before we close tonight, I would like for you ladies to introduce yourselves. And Carissa, I hope you can also speak. So that way you know who is here and you can learn a little bit about each other. So please share who you are, what you do, and what's one thing that you learned tonight that maybe you weren't thinking about before, or maybe you never heard, or maybe you did hear, but this kind of makes you think about it some more. This is that sign from the universe that says, hey, you need to pay attention to this. And before you introduce yourselves, I will stop the recording here. Thank you, everybody that's watching us online.